that swing.
It's impossible.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.
If it had a mind, you could reason with it. If it had a face, you could look it in the eye. If it had a body, you could shoot it. Now, man is no longer the supreme being. The Blob. Terror has no shape. Rated R. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
If it were the host, it might say, "Welcome to the Drive-In Asylum double feature, fans of fantastic films." And along with myself, Bill Van Ryn, and my usual co-host, Sam Panico, we also have the Neon Brainiacs with us. Hi, guys.
What up, y'all?
Hey guys.
Oh, wait, someone's muted. There we go. Ben, you're on.
Aha.
Thank you for having us back. Yeah.
Yeah. We hung out at the drive-in. Now we're hanging out in the virtual drive-in.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Super excited to be back. This is our third time.
Third time, yeah.
Wow. 3-timers club. Look at that.
It is.
You got 2 more and you get the robe.
Oh, we get the rub. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
5-timers
Yeah.
club robe.
I'll send you guys my size.
Yeah.
And all
We'll be
the different
asking.
fabrics I'm allergic to, stuff like that. It's a long list. I'll get it out to you guys.
Hey, I'm sorry to everybody who was expecting Trick or Treat
Yeah.
this week. I guess we waited too long to do it, and by the time we actually decided, it wasn't streaming online anymore. So
Yeah.
Sam's the one that's the most disappointed by that.
I am. I have so much to say about that movie as always, but it's okay. I have a lot to say about the Blob too, and also Prom Night 2, which I think we can maybe all agree is better than Prom Night 1. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get it.
I think we were talking briefly before we came on, and I think of all the spate of remakes that were happening of horror movies, The Blob is one of the few that might outdo the original. Certainly in the gore department, it goes way beyond anything. Like the first time I saw it, I was like literally shocked how gory it is. Like there's a lot of craziness that happens in this movie, and like there's a lot that happens in it where like certainly they wouldn't do that. And this is the movie not to have that in your head. No spoilers, but I saw a couple people in the chat. David already said one of the things that shocked me in this movie. So yeah,
Kevin Dillon's mullet. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's great because he is totally not set up to be the hero of the movie, which I can't say anything more about. But when you're like, I guess he is the hero now. He is like everybody in my hometown. If you grew up in a non-downtown Pittsburgh kind of place or in a small town, he is the kid that like is in trouble all the time in class. He's a very Western Pennsylvania, like I'm going to go ride my moped.
Oh, absolutely. I knew so many people like that in high school.
Yeah.
He's kind of our ragman surrogate for the night.
Yeah, he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's a little more secure with himself than maybe Ragman is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least outwardly. Like I could see him like he probably dates girls from other schools. You know what I mean? Like or he's like, oh, I got a girlfriend at Central Catholic or something like. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, cool. And you can't like verify it, you know?
Yeah.
George Glass. He was somebody's George Glass.
Yeah, exactly. But also, he really, if this movie was made in my hometown, he would have been a skater and not like a motorcycle kid. You know what I mean? He was like down at Rite Aid, carving in the parking lot, getting screamed at by cars.
Yep.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. But he's definitely a troublemaker. But then ends up, this is like one of those ones where we're like, oh, I guess we got to kind of get him. The other thing I love about this movie is like the casting in this movie is wild. Like it pulls like so many people. They're like, I can't believe this person's in this movie. Kind of people,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, man. I mean, they just like take the original concept and just like crank it up to 11, I feel like. So yeah, I don't know. I really dig this one. I think it's gonna be a fun watch.
No, for sure. I mean, like also like the 80s remake, I feel like this is in such good company with like we mentioned before we started going live, like The Thing and like even The Fly too,
Yeah.
where it's like it takes
Ooh,
this like
yeah.
kind of goofy 50s like monster thing and just like it's like you want to see it like just kill every fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like here you go.
That it does.
Yeah. Good.
That's another thing that I love about this film is it takes no prisoners. It's merciless with who dies and who lives. I mean, other than there are obvious people are not going to die in the movie, at least you think.
Yeah.
So there's one big surprise. I'm not going to ruin it in case nobody has seen, in case there's anybody who hasn't seen the film. But other than that, like, yeah, it really just sort of it has a surprise around every corner.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen it, let us know in the chat if you haven't seen it. So hopefully everybody's seen it. I think I didn't see it until maybe the mid 90s, but I remember the poster was in every video store. It felt like the same poster that's here, with just like this or like the blobby like kind of guy trapped.
Yeah.
I think like every store got a copy, and then they just forgot it was up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Blends into like the the wood grain, just bright purple.
Whatever that store is now, that video store, it's still there. The poster's still there. You can still see it.
Probably like a dispensary.
Yeah, they just like painted over it,
And this is one of the movies I watched when I first started dating my wife. I talked about in the thing. I picked her up at her house and she wasn't ready yet. She's like, "Well, I'm finishing this movie, so you can just watch it." And I was like, "She's watching the Blob remake." Like, oh man, I was super impressed.
Winner. Yeah.
It's keeper.
Yeah. She just said in the chat she's on a first name basis with everybody in this. Like even like the most minor characters, she knows a lot about them. Like she's watched it a lot of times. So she's super into it. She's maybe super into Kevin Dillon in this movie. Yeah. She's not into Jonathan Leach as much as I think she's into Kevin. She may confirm this when she comes back in from smoking. But
Becca, you're going to have to let us know, okay? Kevin Dillon or Lance Guest in Halloween 2?
Well, that's I don't think
who's the better boyfriend?
Ooh.
I don't think that's a contest at all. She may come running in on that one. Lance Guest is doing a photo op at Flashback in costume with Bud, and she's like, "Look, we got to go. I don't know how to go and get that." So, Yeah.
With
Is there going to
love.
be a hot tub set up for Leo Rossi?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
They really should do that at the hotel. He should be in the hot tub at the hotel doing photo ops.
can I get
Leo
a photo op
Rossi.
with Leo Rossi's ass?
Yeah.
Show us that ass.
He'll be doing a second photo op the next day as his character from Maniac Cop too.
Yes.
And just like even more over the top than he is in Halloween too. And
Call him
she-
anyway does that relentless photo shoot.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
That's how we do things in New York over here. All right.
She has answered Lance Guest all the way. So yeah, I kind of figured.
All
And
right.
she will also get in a hot tub with Leo Rossi, which I guess makes me.
Lance Guest says me. I don't know. It's tough. Like Matt or Kevin Dillon's mullet, or Lance Guest's like sort of curly, whatever 70s kind of dude
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got going on.
There's only one that's going to go get you a Coke, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then slip on blood.
I
Yeah.
love that part.
Yeah. He is like the clumsiest. Like he is, and you're like, oh, is this the guy? Like Michael Myers is a fucking killing. He's a shark. This guy is not going to protect you. You gotta.
He almost killed Jill by sneaking up on her and scaring her to death.
Yeah.
One of the things I remember about this movie is watching it with my wife, and there's this scene where Kevin Dillon goes into the diner, and the waitress there is like, "Do you want a sandwich?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he doesn't ask like what kind, like what you want on it, nothing like that. She just like fixed him a sandwich, and I said that to my wife. I was like, "Well, why? Like, why wouldn't he ask?" She's like, "Boys will eat anything. You just, you want a sandwich? Like, you just put it in front of them, they'll eat it." Yeah, like it's just like that's how things work. So.
It wouldn't be very bad boy with a heart of gold for him to be like, I don't like bologna.
Yeah.
Give me something else.
Yeah. And you know it's
That's
bologna.
true.
You know
I
it's
have.
bologna in that sandwich.
Imagine if it was made today, he'd be like, "Well, I kind of have an allergy towards gluten.
Yeah.
Just bring me out a lettuce wrap." And, like he wouldn't seem as awesome as he is.
Yeah.
Tracy Palma live from Zombie Fest
Oh,
at the
man.
Mahoning Drive-In.
Yeah.
Right on.
There's Candy Clark's the waitress in this, and I always I can't say anything. We'll talk about Candy Clark.
There's something she usually does in every movie she's in, and she does it in this one too.
And Jack Nance is in this as a doctor. I love when Jack Nance randomly shows up in movies, and you're like, "What?" But he's a doctor in this town. My favorite crazy person in this movie is the priest, which is Del Close, which is literally the guy that invented improv comedy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every member of Saturday Night Live trained with him.
Yes.
Like we wouldn't have like 70s to 90s comedy without him. And he's like a super minor part in this movie. He actually wrote a comic, Wasteland, and the last issue is about him shooting this movie, and Chuck Russell's in the comic, which is pretty wild.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, but he did a ton of stuff, not just this movie, but
He always showed up in like random parts in movies.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he was also in the last Blob sequel, Beware the Blob.
That's right. Oh man.
His cat had scratched his cornea like the day before they started shooting, or maybe even the day that he was supposed to be on set, and he just wears an eye patch through the whole thing, and presumably drank a whole lot to kill the thing.
I've talked about it. I'm sure on the show before, but there's a guy that attends Pittsburgh conventions. It's a very older, I would say almost in his 90s guy whose father did the effects for the first Blob, and he always has a table, and he always wants to sell parts of the original Blob. He offered to sell me his entire table for $500 last show, and Becca was like, "Look, don't." And I'm like, "You can have a piece of the Blob." She's like, "That's a sponge. That's not a Blob." It was like in a little, it was like in a jar like this big, and I was like, "But wouldn't you like to have a piece of the real Blob?" She's like, "It's not the real Blob. Like, why do you believe everybody?" And I'm like, "But he's old, and like you always believe old people."
Yeah.
So I sadly, as of yet, do not own the Blob. So maybe the next time I'm in Cranberry at a show, I'll be like, she just dresses like a homeless man from the other room. He very well could be like the old man whose dog gets eaten by the Blob. Like, you know what I mean? Like he looks a lot like a Royal Dano looking guy.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to my Pooh Bear? But yeah, that's kind of what he looks like. And I'm like, man, I could make this guy's. He just kept pulling stuff out. He's like, I'll give you all these Polaroids of the Blob. And I'm like,
He's like 93.
yeah. If you want like a whole wall of Polaroids of the Blob, like go down to our basement.
Just go to your house. It's like 1 hour photo, but it's all just
Yeah.
like pictures of the Blob.
Come to my Blob museum in Monongahela.
So, Greg and Ben, where was the first place that you saw the remake of The Blob? Whoever wants to go first.
I think I might have caught it on TV when I was young. That's kind of what I remember seeing, like on like definitely like a Sunday afternoon, you know, like TNT, UPN, one of those, you know, kind of bullshits. So that's when I remember seeing it. I mean, it wasn't until like years later I kind of like rediscovered it like in my 20s, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is badass, like way better than the cut I saw on TV. So
Yeah.
and then we did it on the show many moons ago.
Yeah, it was like in our first year. I think it was like episode like 30 something.
Yeah, so yeah, we did it on the show, and yeah, it's just one of those ones like I tend to check this one out at least like once a year at least, you know, just like oh yeah, like I have it on I think like a double feature Blu-ray with something else or whatever. I'm just like, all right, cool, toss this in because it's always fun. So
Yeah.
this will be my yearly viewing of it tonight. So
I can't remember if when we did it on the show that was the first time I'd seen it, or if I'd seen it once before, maybe on like a Fear Net or something like that, just like when I was in high school. You know, there's a
Greg
chance
was
that
a
I was
big
like,
internet guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was what I was tapped into, and I was just like, oh, I don't know, I'll watch Drive Through, this fucking piece of shit.
You know who really likes Kevin Dillon? Cubby, who is doing Kevin Dillon cosplay tonight. He has 11.
Yes.
He's like, I'm going to take over this town.
I didn't know they made dirt bikes that small.
No, I guess they do. This jacket is like more. I told Bill it's more on the side of Village People than Kevin Dillon, but he got this for $3 and he's gonna wear it as much as he can.
Yeah. I mean, he looks sharp in it.
Yeah.
I mean, who has a leather biker jacket harness to wear around the house? So somebody's spoiled.
Yeah, he looks great. Yeah, I'm actually jealous.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. Yeah, me too.
He's like, oh, why am I in jail? I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He was in jail at one point. Well, no, he didn't go to the pound as much as he went to somebody's house, but
Yeah.
we'll call that jail. He's been in the big house.
He's in love with the cheerleader.
He's in love with the cheerleader, yeah, Shawnee Smith.
I saw this movie theatrically when it
Oh,
first
really?
came out
Ooh.
a couple of times. Yeah, I went back at least once. I was 18 at this point, so it was easier for me to just go to an R-rated movie. I didn't drive yet, so I had to convince somebody to take me, but
Yeah.
there were always willing people who were willing to drive me to the movies if I paid.
We were going through the people in it before it started, and I was like, oh man, like I totally forgot Shawnee Smith's in Meet Harry Crumb.
Yeah.
She's in it, and then younger people will be like, oh, she's in Saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say Meet Harry Crumb, maybe instead of Saw. Is a better one. She's in a ton of stuff. She's in the Carnival of Souls remake too, which is kind of wild that she's in that.
She's so good. Why was she not a bigger star?
I agree.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. She's in like really small roles. She's in the remake of The Stand. She's in it like super briefly. Like she'll just show up in like really small bit roles, but I think she's great in this movie. Like
Well,
I really like.
Remember, wasn't there a sitcom she was on with guy from Cheers?
Oh, what's she?
Beckett or Becker or one of those.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she kind of had I mean, like if you were on a sitcom in the 90s, you made some money. So, you know, she'd be all right.
He's one of those guys that continually gets
dancing. That's it.
Yeah. He like goes from sitcom to sitcom to sitcom, and he always has something.
I just like all the I just want all the viewers here to check off the Becker reference on your bingo cards for tonight.
Now he's selling reverse mortgages. He's like inherited the Tom Selleck scamming you on a reverse mortgage, like whatever that is. I don't even know I barely figured out a real mortgage, and I've had two of them. I'm not ready for a reverse one yet.
Yeah, somebody mentioned Summer School in the chat, and yeah, that's like one of my jams.
Yep.
Really. Love it.
Yeah.
Actually, summer school introduced me to Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Oh wow.
because I was young when I saw that. I hadn't seen, Leatherface yet, and there were clips of it in that movie, and I was like, now I have to see that movie. And so that's what sparked me to go and seek out Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So yeah.
That's like the most like positive teen sex comedy there is. Like it's all about like keeping you in school and you being like a better person. Versus, and like he doesn't sleep with what's her name from Melrose Place.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he's like a good person in it.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And he's like super charming. So it's just like, all right,
Yeah, and he's like, oh, it's a teacher wears a Hawaiian shirt. He's awesome.
Yeah. He's like,
why'd you call him by his first name?
Like,
that's one of those movies I watched as a young kid, and I was like, oh, why can't all these people be real? You know what I mean? Like when you first start watching something in your teens, like my school sucks. I don't have anybody like this willing to let me watch Chainsaw Massacre in class.
You didn't know any teenage gigolos that you went to high school with?
Just the one in the TV movie. What's that one TV movie where he dances with a mask on and his teacher shows up? I can't remember which one that is. And like all the teachers show up one night after a PTA meeting, and like his mom's with him, and he's like a Lone Ranger mask on, and he's like swinging it at this club.
Yeah, why?
That was like the big worry, when you're not that I was a young stripper, but
Yeah.
Will
explain that.
Yeah, will the teachers find out? Yeah. But Summer School is a good, and it's a movie that like One Night in Heaven. Thank you, Chris. I knew that you would know what movie that is. But yeah, Summer School is the kind of movie that people have kind of forgotten about. Like I don't know, it wasn't like streaming for a while or something, but it's like I think it's really good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's one of the better movies of that era.
Yeah.
Like teen movies. Like I'd put it up there. I'd rank it up there with some of the better John Hughes movies for sure.
Yeah.
Now, on your podcast, Neon Brainiacs, do you usually just do 80s films? Like, that's kind of your jam, isn't it?
Mostly do 80s, but lately we've been breaking the rules certain months, and like we'll do like a 90s month or a 70s month. So we've been doing that a little bit more just to vary things up, and people seem to like it. But mostly 80s is what we do. Yeah.
What's the last episode you guys did? What movie did you talk about?
Poltergeist 3, which was a very fun episode. We had a comedian, musician, Terry Jones, on the show, who's really fantastic, really funny guy. It's a really funny episode. So tuned into the show. It's a good place to start because it's a really funny episode. Yeah.
I love Nancy Allen so much.
Oh, yeah.
The garbage disposal, it's not working. I forget what her line is in that movie, but she's like, yeah, that thing next to the sink that's supposed to get rid of the garbage, it's not.
Yeah. She's like a horrible aunt in that movie. Just like she hates Carol Ann, wants nothing to do with her.
And she's the biological aunt.
Yeah.
like Craig T. Nelson's sister.
Is all into Carol Ann, and like, Nancy Allen couldn't give a fuck. Yeah, she's like, get this kid out of here. Why did they dump her off on me, in this cool high-rise apartment where there's like a mall and I own an art gallery in it. Like it's the most like 80s fucking shit ever, that movie. I love it.
There's glass everywhere.
So much has happened to that family, and like nothing bad will happen if we leave Carol Ann with another member. Like nothing bad could possibly.
It couldn't happen there.
Yeah,
I guess that's what they were thinking.
Again, it's already happened twice.
That's
sure about that?
Unfortunately, it did, and luckily, Pittsburgh's favorite auntie, what's her name again?
Zelda Rubinstein.
Yeah, Zelda Rubinstein shows up to save the day, and yeah. She left her booth down at Little Italy Days, to show up at the high-rise apartment.
You're going to have to get your own pierogies. I am getting a call.
Oh, Carol Ann.
My wife literally
break the mirror, Carol Ann. Oh.
My wife just ducked her head in and said, I wish Tom Skerritt was my uncle, and then ducked her head back in. You guys probably couldn't hear it in the background.
Yeah, who doesn't?
between this and getting into the hot tub with Bud, it's been a rough episode so far for me.
Yeah, Scarrett's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, they had to replace Coach, so they were like,
Yeah.
oh, who are we gonna get? Okay, who's another?
How you feel about they're like, how you feel about maybe throwing up a tequila worm? Like, we've already done that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the most upsetting scene in it. That and there's a lot upsetting in the Puerto Rico movie. That and the braces. Like man,
The braces really upset me.
The braces got me as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Part 2, you watch it now and it's so dumb. Like it's so dumb. It makes no sense at all. But like when I was a kid, that scared the shit out of me. Yeah, like the braces and the tequila worm that like turns into Kane, you know, and it's like, ugh, yeah. Like you watch it now and you're like, oh, this is some bullshit. So.
Poor Robbie, man. Kid had it rough.
Robbie gets it the worst.
He did, even though he wasn't the one that got sucked through the portal, but like that was the fun part. you
Yeah.
know?
He's on the other side of the TV and he knows when they're coming and he has like she has like some psychic connection. He just gets like assaulted by like toys and
trees.
Yeah.
Tree.
Yeah.
With his braces all tangled up in an electrical socket, you know, it's just it's a lot, you know.
I think that's a movie when you watch it and you're young. It's made for like around 12 years old. It's a shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna make you shit your pants and not sleep that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea that your toy phone someone could be on the other end of it that wants to hurt you is really frightening too.
Yeah. You're not my grandma.
That's creepy because you know kids are always playing like they can hear somebody on the other end of a phone.
Yeah.
You really don't have a reason as an adult to pick up that and put it next to your ear. But like, what if you did and there was a voice in there? That's a scary idea.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, like, you know, you go to church and stuff and they always tell you to like, you know, to be nice to other people. And at Thanksgiving one year, someone came to the house and asked if I answered the door. I was like 10 or 11. And I just let them in the house and everybody came out. They're like, why is this person in our house? I totally 100% would have let the minister into the house. He'd be like, let me in, Sam. I'd be like, come on in.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh, cool, a priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have lasted one night in Salem's Lot.
Oh, I wouldn't have. I was such a forgiving kid. I'd be like, come on in. Let's do it.
Yeah, I was a very gullible kid, so no way. I would have just let him right in.
Hey, speaking of Salem's Lot, what happened to that remake that was supposed to be out at like 5 times already?
Oh, did they do a remake of that?
Yeah.
There was a remake of Children of the Corn too that was out. Like it finally came out. I saw it at Walmart today.
Yikes.
Yeah, I saw it already. It's by the same guy that did Equilibrium, if you remember that, and Ultraviolet. Those two gun fu movies that came out in the 90s.
How much gun fu do they have in the new?
There's no gun fu, but you're like, hey, you know the thing that whatever it is that moves behind the rose. Like, what if you just saw it the whole movie?
Oh,
yeah.
I'd be more inclined to watch it if it was like gun fu and it's like, who are you? I'm Job.
Yeah. That's what I want it to be.
Yeah.
You mean like instead of just showing up at the end, it was a character the whole time and they had scenes together?
Yeah, you see it throughout. Like there's no sense of mystery. And of course there's a girl version of Malachi.
Corn fu.
Yeah. There's a lot of corn getting through. It's like a John Woo movie with corn. People diving over the rose and whipping them. Yeah.
Just slow motion, just like sailing through the air.
Yeah. It's if you're gonna make a bad, I mean, not that there's maybe arguably been one or two good Children of the Corn movies. If you're gonna make a bad one, like go all in. You know what I mean? Like just like be nuts. Like make a real bad one.
I'm proud to say I've never watched any of the Children of the Corn sequels.
I haven't either.
I've only seen the original, and
I've never even seen the original.
yeah,
You know what's wild though? I just realized
really not missing much, but
I am corn free.
yeah,
we're sitting here with a Fangoria Chainsaw Award-winning person.
not me.
Yes, you.
Yeah.
You were in the best movie about Amityville this year, and it won an award last week.
best. Yeah. Yeah, no, Steve Rudzinski won that award.
Yeah, but you're in the movie. I mean, that's pretty
I am
rad.
in the movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in any Amityville movie. I just make fun of him for no money.
I know.
Amityville Emmanuel now playing on Tubi. Don't watch it.
I know. I called my mom and told her, like, look at me now, Mom. I'm finally in an Amityville movie. And she hung up on me. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For God's sake, get out of our family. That's what
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what she said. Yeah.
I think it's a stunning achievement, and congratulations.
Congratulate Steve. He did it. He did it. I got drunk in the bar from the Boonies. That's a Lance Parkin production. Where is Lance? We don't know. He might join later.
He's wasn't he giving an award at some
He
film
is.
festival?
Yeah, I think so.
48-hour film festival.
Yeah.
So he said he might pop on. We'll see.
He heard they started carrying Gibbles at the Market District at Waterworks, so he's going to be late.
You should come to Monongahela because they got him at food. We have the 2 Foodlands left in the world.
Wow.
Yes,
You guys do, because I shot a piece of a movie down there a couple years ago, and yeah, there is a Foodland there.
yeah, close to
How many
home.
movies
So
could
close
be in the 48-hour film festival? You would only be able to watch one if they're all 48 hours long.
Yeah.
Gibbles has the best tagline, Nibbles with Gibbles.
Yeah.
Like they're like, that's it. First idea, done. Let's go home. Their agency was just like, we'll take our money.
Lance
Their hot
is a huge
chips, I get
fan
the
of
hot
those
chips are
chips.
the best.
Yeah, Lance introduced. I'd never had Gibbles until
Yeah.
Lance. One day we did a taste test on the show. I don't remember what episode that was, but they're surprisingly good, and it's because they use a lot of lard.
That's the second ingredient.
Yeah, it's potatoes and lard, and like
Mm.
you can taste it, and like for me, yeah, it tastes great. Yeah, but like,
They're
Yeah,
also
they're
the
good.
kind of brand, like, when you get Pringles and you can barely detect what flavor it is. Like,
Yeah.
Gibbles is like, these are hot and you're going to fucking burn. Like,
Yeah.
they're not afraid to hurt you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh.
like it's it's lard and flavor. Lard and
yeah,
dust.
they're not afraid. I mean, they're using flat out lard
Yeah.
in their chips, so
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck.
They're like those kind of hipsters that got into, like, we only eat, like, real cheese and steak. You know what I mean? Like they're like egg diet where they're like, this is how our forefathers ate, and that's how we're gonna eat. Put lard in the chips.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're delicious. I really liked them. So
Yeah, man, I should have bought them the other night. I went for the I can't remember what brand because we made up. Speaking of sandwiches, we made bologna sandwiches, and damn, they were great. So
yeah.
Did you put the chips on the bologna sandwich?
no, we were going to. Because we watched a YouTube video where they did, and it was like, man, that seems like a good idea.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, this was like a huge bologna sandwich. Also, my wife was like, really, I wish I had a picture of it because I took a picture and sent it to her. She's like, when you go to Foodland, get the Italian bread, not the French bread. Literally, they did it for me. Each loaf of bread said French with a flag next to it, like on the bag, and the Italian was in it. The most Italian bag ever. Like my heritage like spoke up. Like, this is the Italian bread. I get this one. So,
That's funny.
Oh, David, The Children is one of my favorite movies ever, especially in the killer kids genre. But I love The Children. From 1980, that you guys know that one about the kids with the black
The fingernails.
Yeah, I'm aware of that one. We haven't done that on the show yet, though.
oh
We got to.
man, if you have Bill on an episode, that's the one because he will.
You know what? Let's do it. Then that's what we're gonna
There
do.
we go.
Let's
He
get.
will
I'm
tell
going to
you
hold you to that.
Yeah,
a lot about the children. He loves that movie.
That was easy.
we've
Yeah,
been trying to get you guys on for a while, so
Yeah.
then we'll just do that. That sounds good.
I like when movies like also like the children aren't in danger, the parents are in danger. Anyone that wants to, and also everybody in that town fucks. Like everybody, like it's the horniest town
Yeah.
in a movie too. For a movie about the children.
Everybody fucks, Sam. There's nothing shameful about
No,
it.
but I
okay?
mean like really in this town, it's like ooh, there's a lot going on. Anyway, back to the Blob. Chuck Russell and Frank Darabont did this, and they also did Hell Night together, which we already showed, and of course, The Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, which is the first Nightmare on Elm Street I saw.
Wait.
It was a little late to the party, but
Wait, what did Chuck Russell do on Hell Night?
he was involved with it. Let me look.
Because Tom DeSimone directed
They
it.
wrote it together, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they had like been pitching stuff for a long time to kind of get in and do movies. So and Frank Darabont obviously makes all the good Stephen King movies and the one good season of Walking Dead. I'll say hot take before I get out of the room. But I really like all the stuff he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that Nightmare on Elm Street movie is really good.
Yeah.
Like arguably the best one. I mean, maybe aside from the original, but yeah.
But you're talking about 3?
Yeah. Dream Warriors. Yeah.
It's like an X-Men movie. It's like X-Men against Freddy. That's why I like it so much. It's like all of a sudden everybody gets these like superpowers to like fight with it. It's like, wow, this movie's awesome. I was so afraid of watching it when I was young. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be really scary. And I was like, no, it's really not. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's just great. Yeah. No, that's. I'm glad and I think this was like shortly after that, right? Like
Yeah.
this is
Next year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Nightmare and that doing so well got them this movie, I think. So, or got Chuck this movie, I guess. But yeah, no, this is again like practical effects in this movie are just chef's kiss. So good.
Yeah, what's funny is the next person that was going to make a Blob movie was Rob Zombie, and all that exists were his production art of what it was going to look like, and I can't even imagine what he would have done.
Was it just like did it have like a Leonard Skinner jacket on?
Yeah.
The Blob just eats a Confederate flag, and it's just like you can see it moving around in there.
Get in there.
The Blob says "cunt" a lot. Yeah.
Like why?
Yeah,
Why is it doing that?
Yeah.
It ate a Confederate statue.
Yeah. It just moves around in it the whole time. Yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Becca just said he eats a strip club.
Yeah, exactly.
Girls are dancing, and all of a sudden the Blob's coming down the pole while they're spinning around the pole, like their legs are like this, and the Blob's like,
just the Gap band playing in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Scary Moon Zombie like in the Blob the whole time.
It's her on the horse from Halloween 2.
Yeah,
she is the Blob. She will be the.
Wait, did you bring that up because you mentioned Rob Zombie?
Yeah, he was going to remake the Blob at one point.
Yeah, I know. Why did that never happen?
It got close, and there was like a ton of art for it, and it just fell through. And then it took so long that he just got bored, I think.
it's like sometimes the universe just does cool things, like not let Rob Zombie make a Blob movie.
I'm on the other side of that. I would have loved to have seen a Rob Zombie Blob movie because that's the one thing that I think he could have done. It didn't matter what you do with a Blob movie, obviously. Like this one takes a lot of liberties with the formula from the original, but I think it might have been good.
There would have been a scene where, like in the strip club, where the Blob went into the speakers. So there would have been like distortion, and you heard like a blobby kind of sound, and it would be like what, and then it would like kind of come back. There'd be a lot of that. I did look up, Bill, what Chuck Russell did on Hell Night. He was the executive producer on it. And he was also a line producer on The Hearse. And then he followed that up with the movie Body Rock and Girls Just Want to Have Fun and Back to School. He's ingrained in my 80s experience quite heavily.
The Hearse.
I also forgot that he directed The Scorpion King. They're not all good. And The Mask. And Eraser. Which is
wow.
Yeah.
Eraser's kind of dope. I like that one.
That's a movie I can't watch because I will say Arnold lines from it. You've been erased for a day after.
Yeah.
I'll admit I kind of ride for Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I actually like that movie a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's fun.
Don't be ashamed. Say it.
Good cast.
I love it. It's good.
That's good.
I'm thirsty, so I'm going to play the cocktail recipe right now. How about it, guys?
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
All right.
When I was first dating my wife, I came to her house and we were watching The Blob. And we're very excited about showing it this week. This book was a gift at the drive-in from Macy Nicholas. It's by John and Mark Cheyette. It's How to Get Monster Smashed And they got a recipe in there. Cubby knows all about it. It's called the sewer jelly. Take a look at that. Serve this up and watch it take over the party. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go through the ingredients here. We're going to have 2 gelatins. You got to make this a little earlier, so if you're making it tonight.
Sorry.
But you're going to do an ounce and a half, about half a package of each gelatin. You're going to have some yogurt on hand. They say vanilla. I think cherry's better because it's going to be bloodier. We're going to do some pineapple chunks and some vodka, some cold water. Do you know how to make Jell-O? If you know how to make Jell-O, then this gets a lot easier. But the first part, we're going to combine the packaged gelatin, 8 ounces of water. We're going to heat that on low heat until the gelatin's all dissolved. When it cools, we're going to add in the vodka and then
Our yogurt.
Fold in the yogurt and the pineapple chunks. Not going to trust me? Not at all. But I'm going to pour half of these in.
Half.
That's half of one.
Okay.
And then we're going to do half of the other. That was the red. Here comes the purple. You excited?
Whisking.
This is like cooking with your parents where, you know, when you get to be an older guy, it says, talk to your wife to see if you're allowed to handle scissors. Mine was like, talk to your wife and see if you're allowed to touch the whisk again after the last time.
Starting.
There you go. Look at that. It's all nice and mixed up, and now we're going to add in what makes it a drink. We're going to add in
Our vodka.
restaurant pour. Get it all inside the stove so that when the stove turns on, it explodes like a fireball. That's how you want to do it. Now, once you have that all mixed up nice, what you want to do is you chopped up, made some chunky pineapple. You want to mix that in too. Oh man, it's already looking like brains. Man, looks like a kid out of the sewer. Finally, we're going to take some of this
Cherry yogurt.
cherry yogurt. We're gonna drip drop it, dibble dabble it in here and into just different places into here. I'm not gonna start or anything. So kind of want it to look kind of like the guts that are inside the blob when the blob starts eating the town. Who is this? The football hero? Is it the guy that has all the wedding rings and the engagement rings and necklaces in the back of his car?
We know his name's Scott, but I can't think of his last name.
Oh man, is it is there a dog in this one like Pooh Bear? There is a dog in the beginning. It's the old man.
Yeah.
They take the old man back.
I don't think he has a name for it.
All right, well, there we go. Take a look how cool that looks. It's all kind of suspended in there. And now we're going to take this gelatinous creation and we're going to gingerly, probably Becca's going to do it, not me, put it in the fridge. We're going to let it set overnight. And then tomorrow, through the magic of film, video, iPhones, we'll come back and we'll show you what this looks like. No time at all has passed, even though for us it's been a day. For you, it's been seconds. Let's go to the fridge.
How many dog years was it, Cubby?
It was
So many.
Forever. So here we go. The blob's in the fridge. My wife said, Becky said, don't put it in the freezer because you'll kill it. So here it is. Let's see how the blob looks. Let's see what we can do with the blob. Pazuzu. Look at that. It's like a combination of the stuff and the
Hold
blob.
it up a little higher.
This is the stuff in the blob. See, Cubby's already afraid of it. But look at it. It's like...
That's the yogurt,
Yeah.
pineapples, 2 kinds of Jell-O, and vodka.
It's really good, actually.
This is a healthy snack.
Well, other than 8 ounces of vodka in it. But yeah, it's got protein, it's got fruit, it's got no fat. It's got, well, maybe a little bit from the yogurt. It's got blob. When you're done, you just put it in the freezer and kill it. Don't put it in the garbage disposal.
It'll come back and get you.
It'll come back and pull somebody down. But enjoy the movie. And love the blob.
Pazuzu to everybody, and we hope that you enjoy tonight's first feature, The Blob. Special thanks to our guest, Neon Brainiacs, for coming on the show and doing another episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us.
I did not make The Blob, obviously. I just did my own thing. I love that you have to kill the blob after you make the blob, because you're like, put it in the freezer and kill it.
Yeah.
Don't put it down the garbage disposal.
I'm getting some feedback from the video. I don't know if you are, Bill.
No,
Hmm.
I'm not.
I'm hearing my voice play back.
Oh, your voice does sound really weird now that you mention it. It's all broken up.
I think I might be too.
No,
There we go.
you sound very clear.
No, I can hear myself though. That's weird.
There we are. Anyway, yeah, it's like one big Jello shot. A big. You want some? You want some of that? Back here,
Says
the
it'll
salad
eat
make
me.
you. It's not going to eat you. Don't worry. Yeah, he is afraid of it. Should be. It's filled with vodka. A lot of vodka. It's burning when you eat it.
He's in it to win it, Brian.
Yeah. I'm trying to feel up, Brian. You know what I'm having after this? Pierogi casserole. It diets out the fucking window for the blob.
I was going to say, how many steps are you going to need to work that one off?
I did a lot of stepping today. I got the stepping. I also
Did
built a
you?
rock garden. Saturday is the day that you do the yard in Pittsburgh. I went anywhere.
So how about we look at some ads for the Blob, huh?
Yeah.
Please, yes.
Do it.
They started teasing it in July of 1988. I don't know why it didn't come out till August, but it was like the first week of August in 1988. I don't know. Maybe it missed summer prime time by a couple of weeks, but not much. And they kind of just had this one campaign with at least in America, they had this floater in the Blob. I don't know. That's kind of creepy.
Oh yeah.
I like that tagline. Terror has no shape. I like that.
Yeah.
Very alien tag.
I should point out too, before the movie actually debuted, they ran this teaser campaign in a lot of different newspapers with these cryptic phrases. If it had a face, you could look it in the eye. If it had a mind, you could reason with it. Look what else was current to this.
Yeah, Cocktail, Die Hard.
Wow.
Roger Rabbit.
That looks like a reissue though, because it says it's time to tune in again.
Yeah. Trying to get you to go back and watch it again.
Oh man.
It's funny, those were the teasers. There was another one too. If it had a body, you could shoot it.
Yeah.
If it had a car, it could drive you to work.
Yeah.
If it had bread, it'd have French fries in it.
If it had an oven, it could cook you dinner.
Yeah.
If Sam made it, it would have pineapple in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Here it is in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Showcase West, baby. That's where I used to see movies.
Is it really?
Yeah.
We live for these moments here.
Yeah.
Monroeville Mall in '88. What theater would that have been?
It was that little theater that was off to the side of the parking lot.
Oh, where the Best Buy is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Showcase West was where I went. That was my theater.
I would have gone to. I wish I could have gone to King's Court. Imagine. Oh. If I had to choose one today, I'd be like, yeah, King's Court.
I saw it at Harmer Cinemas in
Ah.
Harmerville.
Nice.
But the other one that I always saw movies in, like before I was old enough to go to movies on my own, Showcase East was also in Monroeville.
Oh yeah.
I guess the East didn't get the Blob, but
That's strange.
I know. It was like that though. Like just because it was at one showcase didn't mean it was at all of them.
I
Yeah.
saw Silence of the Lambs at Showcase East, Bill. That was packed first night.
That was my home theater for a long time.
It's a nice theater. It's Sheets now, like everything else in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Dependable.
Yeah.
This is from 1989. A
Oh.
year later, it was with Deep Star 6 as a co-feature.
Wow.
That's a hot lineup.
Yeah, that's kind of a sick lineup.
Yeah.
I like Deep Star 6.
All of that is good.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
imagine seeing Rattle and Hum at the drive-in there? Like,
Yeah,
Only if we get to see Naked Gun first.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
I
I want
like
to
to
sleep
just-
through Rattle and Hum.
You know, if you saw Rattle and Hum in the same mindset as Naked Gun, it's probably a better movie.
Nothing like O.J. Simpson and U2 together.
I just watched an OJ TV movie, and there's a scene where Nicole screams, and I'm like, "Do you think you're going to win an Oscar being in a movie called Naked Gun?" And I was like, "This is the first time I've ever been like, maybe OJ was not wrong.
Yeah.
How dare you be against Naked Gun?"
Wolf and Pants says it still scares them. I think so too. I think this movie has a lot of great, maybe not scares, but suspense. There are some great suspense moments here.
Yeah, especially when they get down in the sewer and stuff.
Oh,
That scene always
Mhm.
kind of gets me still. So
It's nightmarish.
wow. Joel
Joel
Siegel.
Siegel.
Yeah.
He agrees with us.
Eagle, wow, yeah, he really liked it. Look at that. I wonder what Ebert thought of this. Probably hated it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if he had said anything good about it, it would be his name there instead of these guys.
Yeah. Go Siegel.
Roger wasn't always so down. Neither of them. Oh, here's another ad campaign from the UK.
That's cool.
I kind of like that more.
Yeah, I like the bass in there.
Yeah.
That's when Canon owned all those theaters over there.
Oh, they sure did.
Yeah.
The Thorny MI theaters. My dream is to have one of the carpet squares from those theaters.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That's what put them out of business, really.
The carpet.
The carpet, yeah.
No, the buying the Thorny MI because they ended up getting Pinewood Studios. Like, did they really need Pinewood Studios?
No.
Like, they shot Superman there, so yeah.
Here's an ad from when it was on home video in the UK.
It's the only way they could sell House 3.
The horror story. The House 3 trailer that played at the drive-in made me so happy. Like, as much as I'm not like the biggest fan of House 3, I was like, oh fuck, they showed a House 3 trailer after Shocker. Which,
I was surprised.
yeah.
This is always exciting just to not only are we reliving the theater experience, but the home video experience through these ads.
Mhm.
And this is when, there were some movies that got released on home video and they still got a full page or a full size ad in the movie section of the local paper. It would just be like, well, just go and rent it. You don't go to a theater to see it. You go rent it from somebody.
I like all the Elm Street drops in this.
Yeah.
Too. Like from the director, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and then House 3, they're like the house that makes Elm Street look tame. Like, that's like pretty harsh.
That's one of those things like no, it's not going to live up to that, right?
No.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a silly claim to make anyway.
Yeah.
But there we go. Our newsprint ad campaign for the 1988 remake of The Blob, which is going to be our first feature that we're watching tonight. I posted the link on Groovy Doom. If you want to go get it, it's on the Internet Archive. Don't tell anybody.
You can feel like a pirate, but not really. Kind of, sort of like a pirate. Or you can watch an old Dead Media DVD of it, like I am. Like, oh man, where'd you get this? The Exchange. Yeah. Actually, I bought. Now there's a great looking. What do you call it? Shop Factory version of it.
Ooh.
I should
Yeah,
have got that. Hey, I have some reviews of it that came out at the time. If it helps you guys.
Please.
Leonard Maltin gave it 2 out of 4. Wrong, Leonard Maltin. He said, Tony Smith screams and screams convincingly in this otherwise needless and undeniably gooey remake. Producer Jack Harris updates his own camp classic for the Stephen King generation, but the results are frustratingly mixed. Leonard Maltin. Let's see. Janet Maslin of New York Times said it's more violent than the original, more cynical, more commercial, but yet more attentive to detail. The 1958 one, for nothing, no reasons having to do with merit, has earned a place in history. The remake will not do the same. Wow. And finally, Chuck Russell said, maybe it was a mistake to do The Blob with a sense of humor. I thought it would be entertaining. Unfortunately, it was released late in a very hectic summer filled with very big films, and the ad campaign was not good that we just looked at. Come on, don't yourself, Bill. Bill put a lot of work into that, Chuck Russell.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wonder what else came out in the summer of '88 that, well, we saw Cocktail.
Yeah, Cocktail, Roger Rabbit. It looked like.
Die Hard was in there.
Yeah,
Oh, that was it. Monkey Shines also came out that year. Maybe not as exciting to anyone.
Yeah, it was contemporary to The Blob too. It was
Yeah.
like released around the same time.
Bronson and Messenger of Death, Hobgoblin, Pittsburgh favorite Flesh Eater, also came out in '88. Was no competition whatsoever to The Blob.
Yeah, because that was straight to video. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love me some Flesh Eater.
Oh.
The maniacs in the chat over here, they know.
Oh yeah.
I
Flesh
love it
Eater?
because
I saw that at the drive-in.
Oh, we did too. Yeah. Did you see it first run at the drive-in, or
No,
no?
God, no.
My
I forget what it was
that
called. There was a
movie-
very brief theatrical exhibition somewhere as Revenge of the Living Zombies. Or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
Like that.
My theory of Flesh Eaters, Bill Hinsman's like, I've been married a long time. I'd like to touch some fresh food.
You're not that far off.
Yeah.
What's funny is one of my best friends, that Bill Hinsman is his cousin.
Uh-huh.
And he grew up in the same neighborhood where they shot a lot of those movies, like Majorettes and that. So, yeah, there's just like, you're just from inside baseball, you're not far off
Yeah.
in that theory that you have. Yes.
Whose pool is it in the majorettes? Do
It's
you know?
Hinsman's pool. Yeah. It's his pool. And from what I heard, he screwed up, like, because they put a bunch of blood in it. It took ages to get it out. It screwed up the filter, all that. And it's not Heidi. I can't remember his wife's name. Bonnie Hinsman was very upset about it. So
That's how I know he's rich. He's got an in-ground pool.
A nice pool.
Exactly. Yeah.
It wasn't in ground though. It was an above ground with a deck built around it.
That's some kind of status symbol in Western PA though. You're like, look at Bill Hinsman's pool. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, he's doing something. I think that Russo is a little more sleazier than him though. Like he's just like, you know.
As someone who briefly went to the John Russo Movie Academy,
yeah,
yes.
Though another person that I bought way too much from at shows, where he's like, I got this coffee stain poster from Midnight. It's literally got coffee all over it. I'm like, I'll buy it.
So, all right, you want to talk some John Russo?
Yeah.
So a few years ago, there was a Gross festival in Washington, and John was a guest there, and he was, notoriously, he's a grumpy guy. And when we walked in, I think, Greg, you were with me. We walked in, and John Russo is just sleeping on a couch, like in the lobby of this hotel. And I took a picture of it, and I've since cut it out, and we just Photoshop John Russo into things constantly. Like our listeners, like this is what we do in our Discord channel. We just Photoshop John Russo into situations where he would be sleeping. And we've gotten a lot of joy from that. That's probably the most joy I've gotten from John Russo. But yeah.
See, you're saying, without saying anything that could potentially get you sued, it's a good thing I didn't go study screenwriting with him.
I mean, again, like I learned a decent amount there, and like he was smart about certain things. I mean, there's a quote from him that I remember. He's like, short films are a complete waste of time. Don't do them. Yeah. And like, he's not wrong. Yeah. Like can't make any money off them. So like, that's where he's coming from. But yeah, like I was briefly there. I was like kind of shepherded in as a student, really. I got involved in some of the productions that they were doing there. So yeah, but no, I never got a degree. So, but it was kind of a racket, the whole thing.
I wonder about that concept all the time. Like where he was coming from was that it doesn't matter if you do a short film because you're not going to, like you said, you're not going to be able to sell it. It's not going to be shown anywhere because nobody can use it. theatrically, because in those days it didn't really matter what your movie was or if it was any good. Like if you could just put it out there with a sensational title,
Yeah.
even though maybe nobody would come back to see it the week after, you would still make a pretty decent amount of money
Yes.
off of it just being there and being a product that people could go shell out a buck to go see. So I wonder how that's changed today, because now you're gonna watch it at any time, like it's on demand.
Yeah.
So if it's bad and like nobody will ever watch it again. So I wonder how you make money off of a movie.
A lot of
like
shorts now too all get jammed together into one like horror streaming anthology with
that. Oh yeah.
a title thrown on it. You're like, oh, these were just shorts that were made without any like
Completely separate.
Yeah.
It's not like an Amicus movie you're watching. It's just here's 4 shorts that we're gonna try to make some money off of.
I mean, it's totally different now. The landscape's totally different. But like when John Russo was making movies, you're right. Like even the home video market was very lucrative. Like majorettes and Flesh Eater like made money, like like through home video, like a good amount. You know, like I mean, like $500,000 levels of money. You know, like
Yeah.
so like made possibly even more nowadays. Yeah, you're lucky if you get your movie on Tubi. And then people stream it for free, and you're going to see like cents for some of the ads that are playing. Like, it's tough. It's a lot tougher now than it was then. But then it's easier to make a movie now, and it was tougher to make a movie then because you needed film or like, and that was way more expensive than now. If you have a smartphone, you can make a movie. Like, you can make a movie that looks pretty darn good. Like.
A better movie for nothing than could be made for $30,000 in those days.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a give and take there.
I think we should listen to the man that made Santa Claus, spelled with CLAWS.
Yeah.
And Scream Queen's Naked Christmas. They're the same movie.
Oh, John Russo.
You know what? I've bought a lot of merch from him, so I really can't. I'm not, but I can't. I'm making fun of myself when I make fun of him.
Yeah.
I've watched Midnight so many times. I mean,
I love Midnight. I own Midnight. I own Majorettes. I own, like a lot of his films.
Yeah, I own Midnight too. I mean, I have problems.
Yeah.
Midnight too.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Shot in Market Square and only Market Square. That movie taught me that, and Santa Claus both taught me that. I always wondered what that greeting store was, where Dunkin' Donuts is in Market Square now. The store that only had hats and like weird like gifts. Like, what is that store? That's where the killer in Santa Claus buys his Santa Claus costume. And I was like, oh, that's why that store exists.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right where Dunkin' Donuts is now. I can still see it. It had gigantic glass windows. It was really easy to see through them because it was the corner business.
Yeah.
It was always really bright in there, and you would see all those hats and be like, what the fuck is that place?
I have a theory that those guys and the people that own Hare Krishna are the same people. They were like the same family. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Do you guys remember that place on Smithfield, Giggles?
No, I
think I might have been before my time.
Yeah. No. It was up till a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah. It was right almost at Smithfield and Boulevard of the Allies. There was this store called Giggles, and it was the Hare Krishna people.
They had moved
not
the
literal
stock over
Hare
from Hare
Krishnas.
Krishna over to there.
If you're not from Pittsburgh, there was a groovy sort of like rock poster / head shop in the 70s downtown called Hare Krishna, and like they sold all kinds of blacklight posters and everything, but in the back you went through this beaded curtain and there was a head shop back there, and they had all these
like Teleropa, like that.
They had
kind of like that, but it was a little more sleazy.
Okay.
There was a band you wanted a shirt of. Seriously, 100% they had their shirt. Like
that was where you went.
Like
I do remember that because I remember my dad taking me to a store that had like every band shirt downtown.
Yeah. It was right next to National Record Mart downtown.
Okay. Maybe I did go there because I remember like my dad was like, "You want a Metallica shirt?" They were like, "All right," like we went to like there and like got one.
Yeah.
I got a Zodiac Mind Warp shirt there, so that should tell you like how deep their inventory went. Like, wow, like, they had two.
They had like all this cast-off band merch. Oh my god! When I think about the stuff I saw there,
you're right. Giggles had the same. Giggles somehow got all the stock from Hare Krishna and moved it over.
Giggles was the same people, I think, because they got rid of all the rock stuff.
Yeah.
And they just like focused on tchotchke, and but they had a large glass selection there. Like you could go in there. It was one of the only places downtown that I knew where you could go buy some glass.
Yeah.
So I went there a couple of times.
Now you
For
can just go to
tobacco
any 7-Eleven in town or convenience store, and like 90% of them have stuff. I was in South Park the other day, and there's literally, I thought it was a beer store. So I'm like, oh, let's go get some beer. And it was just all glass and and CBD. But it was like they had like Funko Pop Captain America bong. Like you see his head off.
That's weirdly specific.
Yeah, right. Who wants this? And smoke out of Captain America's head.
Yeah.
Far out.
All right,
What is the
Disney.
message?
Yeah.
Super soldier serum. Yeah, it was weird.
I distinctly remember some place downtown that had all those band shirts, so I'm pretty sure I got a few things from there.
It had to be.
I begged to go back there ever since I saw like all the band stuff. Yeah.
When the Oyster House shows up in a movie, I'm super excited. There's a few other ones it shows up in, but yeah.
That's a good question, Jeff Drake. The last time, like during COVID, I remember because Slacker's right across the street from the printer where I get Drive-In Asylum printed. So I was always there, and I would always see Slacker there. And one day there was a sign on the window in the front that said, like, going out of business, help 2 hippies retire. And it was like, go in and buy our shit, you know? And like, I think a year later, they were still there, and that sign was down. So I don't think
the
they
guy
left.
that had the toys that were in there for a while moved up to Munhall, and then he runs like a semi-monthly toy show now. But I can't remember what his name. Out of a church that has really good food because it's Pittsburgh. And the food room really looks like a Styx album cover inside. It's really awesome. Yeah, I remember I used to go in Slacker all the time, and it'd be like, remember when they had like that wall of zines, and you're like, oh my god, like there's so many magazines that exist in the world. That was like your connection to the world through Pittsburgh, pre-internet.
So, should we get to the movie? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Neon Brainiacs, you guys are coming back for the second segment, right?
Yes.
I will be back. Yes.
Excellent.
Maybe we'll get Lance too.
We'll see. I'll try to get on the horn with
crossed.
him. We'll see. He's a busy guy.
I'm gonna be consulting my crystal ball here in a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see Lance's face in it. Until then, go watch our first feature, The Blob. The link is on probably have it on DVD or Blu-ray, so go watch that. Come back afterwards. We'll have lots to say about it and more on our second feature on the Drive-In Asylum double feature.